takes very seriously. I'm going to turn the time over to Chief Chapman. He will be followed by Mayor Dolan. After that, we're going to watch a video presentation. After the video presentation, we want to invite everyone to go ahead. We will exit out in front of the court building where we will do a balloon release. The balloon release will represent the victims of domestic violence that we've had in Sandy over the past year. On the back table, there's a press packet, information packet in regards to the statistics for Sandy, for the state of Utah and nationally as well. And at this time, I'll go ahead and turn time over to Chief Chapman.
Thank you, John. Thank you very much for attending today. That tells me you care. I'm glad to see so many people here today. October is National Domestic Violence Awareness Month. It is an important time for the victims of domestic violence to have a chance for their voices to be heard. Domestic violence is not just a family issue, it is a crime. Domestic violence is a problem throughout the United States, and Sandy City recognized that it has its effects on our citizens, and is a problem in Sandy as well. In Sandy City, we had 298 domestic violence assaults reported from September 1st, 2012 until August 31st, 2013, which I'm glad to say is 61 less than last year. That makes me happy. We also had one domestic violence-related homicide victim this past year. There were 538, I repeat, 538 children that witnessed domestic violence this year, and we recognize that children witnessing domestic violence is a form of child abuse. We are hopeful that the decreasing number of domestic violence assaults means that there is less domestic violence happening within the boundaries of Sandy City. Although the number of reported assaults has decreased for domestic violence, Sandy City is still aware that it is an issue, and will continue to be very much aware of this crime in our city. Even if we had one victim of domestic violence, it would still be an issue for the whole city. No one, I repeat, no one deserves to be abused. Sandy City is proactive in trying to bring awareness to the community and in helping victims of domestic violence. We have a family crime intervention unit that specializes in all types of crime that affect the family. We have a detective specifically assigned to that unit to help investigate and help families that have issues with domestic violence. We have victim advocates that assist all victims of crime in Sandy City. They are there to offer resources and help them on their path to recovery. We also have a family advocate that works with children and families. We are adding a therapist to our unit to provide therapy and mental health resources to the families we assist. We are actively trying to help the citizens of Sandy City to build a safer community. Sandy City hopes to continue to lower the prevalence of domestic violence and other forms of violence. We are working to have our officers create a safer environment for our citizens in Sandy. Our officers can't do it alone. We repeat that over and over again, and need our assistance to cut down crime in Sandy City. If you suspect anyone, or if someone is being abused or endangered, please call us, the police department. Each citizen can make a difference. We need to work together in reference to domestic violence. We have done so, and we plan to continue to do so in a very strong manner. We will be releasing 299 balloons. Each purple balloon represents an adult victim of domestic assault violence. And the black balloon represents the domestic violence-related homicide we had in our city this past year. We also have 538 pinwheels, and these are important also, displayed to represent each child that witnessed domestic violence this year. Thank you again for being here. We really appreciate your support. We hope that we all keep this in mind, and that we are aware that domestic violence is a crime, and that we will do all in our power to make sure that even one victim doesn't happen. I'm now proud to turn the time over to our mayor, Tom Dolan.
Thank you, Chief. Thank you all for being here. Good morning to you. As was mentioned, we've participated in Domestic Violence Awareness Month for 7 years. And we vow today to continue, because breaking the silence of abuse is one of the most important things we can do for anyone or any family in our community. Every 15 seconds in America, a woman is abused. If it's not happening to you, it's happening to someone in your family, someone you work with, someone in your community. Our theme this year is Find Your Voice, because the abuse often hides behind a veil of silence. We encourage everyone to use their voices to make a difference. Share the video that we're going to show you today. It will show you some of the statistics and such that we're also handing out today. On social media, put that on there also, we'll do that. But talk to your friends and notify the authorities if you ever see any form of suspicion of domestic violence in your community or in your family. This is one of the tragedies of modern society, is that even though domestic violence continues in our society and in our communities, find a voice, find a way to help those that are specifically injured by domestic violence, and let's take this tragedy away from the families and children in our community. Thank you for being here today. I will now read the proclamation. Whereas the month of October is National Domestic Violence Awareness Month, and whereas we ask that those who are survivors and victims of domestic violence, homicides, be remembered, and whereas the lives of women, men, children, extended family, and communities are negatively impacted by domestic violence, and whereas the crime of domestic violence is not confined to any group or groups of people, but crosses all age groups, races, and socioeconomic segments of our society. And whereas domestic violence hurts everyone, and whereas domestic violence is often a cycle, children witness the violent behavior from their parents. They learn these behaviors, often continue into their dating relationships, and then into their own marriage relationships. Thus, the cycle continues. Whereas we as a community must recognize the scope of this social problem and work together to create a community which does not tolerate domestic violence. Whereas it is up to us as a community to teach our children and to expand the awareness of domestic violence by education, prevention, and outreach. And whereas we encourage all Sandy City residents to take a stand against domestic violence in their personal relationships and in their communities. Now, therefore, be it resolved, the Mayor of Sandy City and the City Council do hereby proclaim and recognize October 13th as Domestic Violence Awareness Month. Thank you. I believe we have a video now that we'd like to share.
My life is very different now. I do not have as many friends and am not close with the people that I used to be close to. I have a hard time going to school and have had to face comments and judgment from people. I hope that other girls do not have to go through this.
My wife drank roughly 1.5 bottles of wine without eating. She started about 3:30 p.m. and became increasingly abusive as she continued to drink. She chased me inside the house and attacked me.
I never understood why he couldn't get out of it, why they just wouldn't leave. After being in the situation, I am more understanding. I was more of a victim because I was a cop.
Mom, I need to talk to you about Dad. He's been hurting me for a long time now, and I need your help.
The thing I regret the most, looking back, is that I didn't leave sooner. Every day I make the conscious decision, sometimes 2, 3, or 4 times a day, not to worry or fear the future and live daily in a place where there's love, peace, and hope. I don't want to be a victim anymore.